Palantir's third quarter results are hitting the wire, and let's take a look at where some of these numbers landed. So Palantir reporting third quarter earnings and revenue above expectations, also raised its fourth quarter and full year sales outlook. You're seeing shares up around 4% in after hours trading, revenue coming in at $1.18 billion for the 3 months ending September 30th. That's a 63% increase from the previous year and above the $1.09 billion Wall Street expected. Now, driving that revenue beat was Palantir's business in the U.S. Its revenue from U.S. government contracts jumped 52% to $486 million. That's above the $470 million expected. And the company's U.S. commercial segment saw revenue soar 121% to $397 million. In a letter to shareholders, CEO Alex Karp called Palantir's U.S. commercial business, quote, an absolute juggernaut. Earnings, like we said, exceeded expectations. Adjusted earnings per share of 21 cents was ahead of the 17 cents expected and more than double its EPS of 10 cents a share in the third quarter of 2024. Now, for some background here, Palantir sells its artificial intelligence software to businesses and governments in both the U.S. and abroad. Its tech does everything from supply chain analysis to surveillance and identifying military targets. So the government business has been especially important to this company, and it's something that Wall Street analysts have been looking at closely as the U.S. government continues to not only spend on defense, but also remains shut down. But that did not affect that fourth quarter guidance. Clearly not a factor at this point. We are seeing shares up, again, 4% in after hours trading. Here with a closer look at the numbers is Apostrophe Capital Research Chief Market Strategist Corey Johnson. And Corey, across the board here, very strong results. Seems like a pretty stellar quarter. As you parse through this report, what stands out to you most?
So I guess the thing that really jumps out at me, in my model, I had to do a double take when I looked back at my model over the weekend and saw that I was predicting a 99% business increase in their commercial revenue, thinking, is Corey crazy? And then they come out with a 121% increase in commercial revenue. So that was a really dramatic number. And now we don't have the actual hard numbers, I should say. In the press release, they give us percentages. In the presentation, which I have yet to see uploaded onto their site, we'll get some harder numbers about sort of the segment revenues. But they give us the percentages, and we can start to figure out what those numbers are, and they're really strong. It's fantastic growth in a business that was already growing at an incredible rate. So the rate of increase in this business has continued to accelerate. It's a very impressive thing to see, as has the profitability. So incredible profitability from this company. But you don't see the stock moving dramatically because it already moved dramatically. And there is such an intense retail interest in this stock. One wonders how the market is going to react to it when these numbers come out, because the retail sector tends to cheerlead when maybe the professionals tend to take a more measured approach. At least one might think so. Certainly, when the numbers turn bad, the retail flees, and so that was something to be concerned about here. But these are just really strong numbers from Palantir. Yeah, and a lot of this has to do with the valuation story, right, Corey? I mean, were these results enough to justify the super high valuation? Because we know in the past, Palantir has delivered solid results, yet the stock doesn't do too much considering how high of a multiple it trades at. So how do you view the results versus the valuation here? I mean, you say it doesn't do too much, but it's up 388% in the last year. So it might. I mean, directly after the results, but yes, to your point, agreed. So we're in total agreement as usual. There's what we can see happening here is they were expected to deliver fantastic results, and they delivered fantastic results. I mean, this stock is insanely expensive by any measure, and you can estimate whatever kind of growth you want and however many years of this kind of growth going forward. But the stock is really priced for the cliche price for perfection. It is priced for this dream of all-encompassing Palantir AI, both in government services and in the U.S. Yet the company has told us that they're not going to sell everything to everyone, and they're going to limit what that audience is. So we shall see. I mean, there's some things I both love and hate at the same moment about Palantir. I love that they're so funny, and they've got this ridiculous merchandise on their website, limited edition T-shirts of Alex Karp's face comically altered, as if his hair isn't comically altered already enough, said with affection. But does that boost a retail presence in the stock who've got cheerleaders, not investors? At the same time, I love the fact that they do their earnings press conference on video. helps my podcast, my video podcast on YouTube. They're on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. Great. Everybody can watch what Alex Karp and the guys look like. And there's no one more entertaining at a conference call, I think, than Alex Karp. But one, again, wonders if the company might want to temper some of this expectation around the equity share price as opposed to the really exciting business.
Yeah, and look, now, Corey, we're in the red. We were up 4%. Now we're pretty much trading flat to the downside here.
Yeah.
But one thing that I realized is they didn't really mention their international business. And I'm curious if that comes in ahead of projections, because obviously the U.S. commercial side is crushing it. That's doing really well. But internationally, it's struggled. The commercial business abroad has fallen below expectations over the past 2 quarters. So how important is that international segment when you think about the future of Palantir's growth?
Well, and again, it gets to where could this? I'm looking at the press release to see if they update the presentation here on my other screen, and they have yet to. They'll do it surely momentarily, but they have told us they're not going to sell to everyone. They have told us they're going to sell to the U.S. and their allies. They announced an important deal into the U.K. recently, but we'll see what they sell and how they limit what they sell and what their products can do. I mean, Palantir is very excited about all the possibilities they have to strengthen America and America's defense and offense. Not everyone's as excited about that. We see that when we look at what's happening with ICE. That is this the mining of data, or is it the excavation of secrets? And we wonder how far that we want that to go, and how many successive U.S. governments are going to want to have unfettered access to personal data of individuals and make a big business out of that for Palantir. So there may be limits to their business that we don't see right now. But this quarter, right now, the numbers are just spectacular.
And Corey, real quickly here, some analysts have flagged ethics as a growing concern for retail investors since Palantir has been protested for its deals with ICE and the Israeli military. Is that at all a risk for the stock?
I think capitalism is winning over ethical concerns right now. I don't know that the retail investors are very concerned with people who are different than them and might suffer from some of the effects of these technologies. But I think it's someone everyone should think about and wonder how they want to invest and how they want to make money.
All right, Corey, thanks so much. Appreciate it as always.
Thank you.